to 4.
Welcome to the Doug Bailey Radio Show. Here's Doug Bailey.
And you know, over the years, as we celebrate 40 years on the air here this year at KGGO, we've had a lot of great voices, a lot of great talent in the nighttime from 7 to midnight, but none better, none more legendary than our night person that will start Monday night. I'm talking about Alice Cooper. Alice, welcome.
Thank you. That'll be fun. I've been doing the show for about 14 years now, syndicated, and people seem to like the idea that I tell stories about backstage, just about anybody you can think of. I've had some relationship with, from the Beatles to the Sex Pistols, and I don't necessarily stay with the playlist.
So you kind of are a rebel, and you kind of vibe from it then, right?
Well, you know, it was funny when I first took the show. It was Dick Clark said, "If you had a radio show, what would it be?" And I said, "Well, first of all, I can tell stories about everybody." I said, and if the second, my show is extremely, I love to call it professionally haphazard. So anything can happen on my show. So, and at the same time, I'll play, Led Zeppelin, of course, and AC/DC and the Beatles and everybody. But you'll hear every once in a while, you'll hear Love or the Doors. And you'll hear, Paul Butterfield once in a while, and even Frank Zappa, because I like to spice up, and give the show a little bit more, stuff that people don't hear.
So it's just basically great classic rock. You talk to some artists, maybe your favorite artists, maybe give some backstage stuff as such, some information that people may not know, and just have a fun time.
Absolutely. It's more conversational than anything else. I mean, people say the radio show sounds like I'm talking to the person that's sitting there listening to the radio, like a one-on-one. And that's kind of the personality of the show.
And that's what makes great radio.
Yeah, that's it. I want people to feel like it's their radio show.
Why do you think, as you said, this started in 2004, you've been on for 13 years. Why do you think it's just been so popular over these? Why do you think people have been drawn to Alice Cooper's show?
I think there's some authenticity to it. If you're talking about Paul McCartney, he's a Hollywood vampire. He played in one of my on the Vampire album with us, and I've known him for 35 years, so I've got some great stories about him. Keith Moon from The Who. I mean, everybody you can think of were guys that we had some sort of relationship with, and those stories can only come from me because I was there.
That's true. Alice Cooper on the phone. Alice Cooper, your new night guy here on 95 KGGO, 7 to midnight, Monday through Friday, and Sunday night, 7 to midnight as well. Alice, can you stay around for a little bit? We're going to play some more music.
I can stick around, sure.
Right now, let's do it. Let's go back a little bit to Alice Cooper and School's Out on 95 KGGO. Of course, you just heard Alice Cooper's School's Out. And, for Alice, school's always out. For others, kids are in school right now. Alice, it's a wonderful song. Give us a backstory on that song.
Well, I tried to figure out, if you're going to write an anthem, you have to write an anthem that's going to talk to every generation. That's why a song like My Generation by The Who, every kid that's 16 hears that song and goes, oh, that's about me. Or Smells Like Teen Spirit, or 18, it's one of those things where everybody kind of goes, oh, man, that refers to me. So, School's Out, I said, if we could capture the last 3 minutes of the last day of school before summer vacation, the joy of being out for 3 months, without school, everybody will totally get that. Even the teachers will get that.
And I think it was placed right. I mean, I've loved the song forever. Those of us that are in classic rock radio, I've been at this station for over 22 years. But one of the things that now I always ingrained in my mind with that when I hear that song is the final minutes on Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
It kind of says about that time.
Yeah, it really is. And, but the crazy thing is, though, is you go all over the world. We'll play in Jakarta, and School's Out. When we start School's Out, they go crazy because it relates to them too. So I mean, you can play it in China, you can play it in Russia, you can play it anywhere, and the record was a hit record everywhere in the world. Same with Poison. Poison was a hit record all over the world. So when you get one of those songs, and I believe this, I think every band gets one of those. I think The Who will always be known more for my generation than anything else. The Beatles, as many great songs as they wrote, I Want to Hold Your Hand is probably going to be the song they're known for more than any other song. And, my generation for The Who, that, and School's Out will always be the Alice Cooper song,
On the phone, Alice Cooper. If you didn't hear, Alice Cooper's our new night guy. If you didn't hear it, you're sleeping under a rock. We've been talking about it for the last 24 hours. Alice Cooper doing nights here on KGGO starting Monday through Friday nights from 7 p.m. to midnight. And you're also going to be with us on the weekend on Sunday night from 7 to midnight as well. We played Poison. We played School's Out. Alice, you want to stay around for a little bit? And I'm going to play one of my top 3 favorite songs from you. Can you guess what that maybe might be?
Problem. Sure, no problem. I'll be here.
Can you guess what that maybe might be?
I think that with knowing you, I would say it's probably Feed My Frankenstein.
And I think you would be right. Alice Cooper, Feed My Frankenstein on KGGO. And now we can say nights with Alice Cooper here on KGGO, 7 to midnight, Monday through Friday nights, 7 to midnight on Sunday. You just heard Feed My Frankenstein, and Alice, one of the great parts of your show, and you're coming to Des Moines, to the Des Moines Civic Center on October 23rd. We can't wait. What can we expect on the show for those of us that may not have seen you?
Well, sure, for one thing, you're very, very, very close to Halloween right there. Halloween is every night with us. Our stage show is like a gigantic Halloween party. So Feed My Frankenstein, was the one I did in Wayne's World. And just the funniest thing last night was we played New York City last night. And we were doing Feed My Frankenstein. At the end, Mike Myers came out, who was, Wayne in Wayne's World, and did the whole thing with bowing, we're not worthy, and the whole thing like that. The audience went crazy. They thought it was really funny. But Feed My Frankenstein is like the part of the very big theatrical part of the show when the 14-foot Frankenstein does come out and sort of like he takes the stage. I can't explain, when you see the show, you go, oh, you expect this from Alice Cooper. I mean, for 50 years I've been doing shows that are productions, and I want the audience to never get their breath. I want to take their breath away for an hour and a half, hour and 50 minutes. I don't give the audience a chance to get their breath.
I still can't believe, not to cut you off, sorry, I still can't believe Mike Myers came out.
Mike Myers came out. I knew he was in New York. He kind of surprised me because I have dinner with him all the time. But he came out during Feed My Frankenstein, and the audience, New York audience, of course, they love Mike Myers. He's a New York guy, and it was really cool.
Well, one last question for Alice before we go. We've got one of our part-timers, Jacob Beals. He's here in the studio right now, and he's a huge Alice Cooper fan, and he had one question that he wanted me to ask you, but he's here. He wanted to hear the interview. I'm going to let him ask you himself. Jacob, what's your question for Alice Cooper?
Oh, Alice, is so cool to talk to you, but you mentioned Wayne's World, and I just want to know, how much fun was it to work on that movie, and how did you get to work on that movie?
Well, Wayne and Mike and Dana were both Alice Cooper fans, and they needed somebody iconic in that part because the "We're Not Worthy" thing, and they knew that I was not just a singer, but I was an actor also. So at the same time, they called up and they said, "You want to do it?" And I told them, "Hey, I watch Saturday Night Live. I know the bit. That would be great." Now they asked me, they said, we're just going to do a big song and we're going to be there and the whole thing. And I went, sure. So I get there and we do Feed My Frankenstein and everything. And Mike says, hey, listen, I've got a little bit of dialogue. Can you do a little bit of dialogue with us? And I went, sure. He hands me about 20 pages of dialogue. And I go, when are we shooting this? And he goes, in about 10 minutes.
Well, it doesn't give you a lot of time now, does he?
Half of the stuff, Mimi Walk A and all that stuff, I was riffing on that stuff. I was making it up as I went along because I couldn't remember most of it, and they were doing everything they could to make me laugh.
Alice Cooper.
It was really fun. It was really fun.
Oh, it's awesome, Alice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper on the phone. If you didn't hear, Alice Cooper's our new night guy here on 95 KGGO, Monday through Fridays from 7 to midnight, and Sunday night from 7 to midnight as well. As we part, Alice, I know we've got you here at the Des Moines Civic Center on October 23rd. And if you get out, if you can spend some time here before the show, my boss, Chad Taylor, and I wouldn't mind trying to beat you in a round of golf.
You know what?
Could that happen?
If you bring money, you will be leaving. You will be leaving without that money. I'm playing really good right now.
We're not worthy.
And Chad's here. We're not worthy. I haven't played in over 10 years. I don't even own a set of clubs that's past 1969. So.
Well, I play 6 days a week, so I've got a little advantage on you.
Alice, thanks a lot. We're looking forward to the premiere of Nights with Alice Cooper on Monday night. Have a great weekend. We'll see you here on Monday night, and of course here at Civic Center for a show on October 23rd. Thanks a lot.
And tell the audience, Civic Center on the 23rd, hey, that's awfully close to Halloween. Don't be afraid to come in costume.
And that's what we're telling them. That's what we've been telling them to do for the last few months since it was announced.
Yeah, great. That'll be fun, man. And it's great being on the show.
Alice, thanks a lot. Have a great weekend.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Doug Bailey Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform.